Wearing the right shoes for the occasion. Have you ever left the house only to figure out that you wore the wrong shoes? Here's kind of what I'm talking about. Melissa and I were on vacation last year, and we were vacationing with some friends, but we had arrived at the destination prior to them, a day before them, and we were trying to figure out what to do to kill some time, and so we decided that not far from our hotel, we thought, was a mall. And we were going to walk to that mall. So we set out on the streets to walk towards that mall, and then the weather kind of clouded over, and then it began to rain, and we began to realize it wasn't near as close as it looked on the map. And this might not have been the wisest of ideas. Meanwhile, we had gotten, not dressed up, but we had gotten, some nicer clothes on, nicer casual clothes. And specifically, she had put on her Converse, which were her favorite pair of her shoes that she likes to wear, not necessarily for walking, though. And as we got a few blocks in, realizing how far we still had to go and that the rain was coming, her feet began to hurt, and then blisters began to form. And I remember hearing her say, I should have worn a different pair of shoes that she brought. We made it to the mall, and the very first order of business was a new pair of shoes. Absolutely. Right? Because if the feet aren't happy, ain't nobody happy. Or maybe better said, if mama's feet ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? Yeah. You've had those experiences where you've left the house only to figure out, oh man, I wore the wrong shoes. Isn't it miserable when we wear the wrong shoes? And it's not usually the way they look, right? It's usually the function for which we need them that day. We put on cute shoes to look cute only to find out that cute doesn't trump comfort, right? We've had these experiences where we have worn the wrong shoes, and they're usually not pleasant. When it's not pleasant, that's when we realize, oops, the wrong ones. Roman soldiers wore heavy military sandals called caliga. You can advance it to the next picture, if you will, and that'll show a pair of shoes. Maybe. Or maybe I can advance it. There we go. Roman soldiers wore a heavy military sandal called caliga, half boot, half sandal. The uppers were pierced with open work designs, which gave good ventilation. The many straps allowed for adjustments to fit the peculiarities of the individual's foot that was wearing them, while also allowing the parts of the boot that might rub, like the toes, the joints, the ankle, the big toenail, those were cut away, removing some of that potential for discomfort or hurt or pain. The soles were made of several layers of leather that were clenched together by hobnails, frequently arranged in patterns, and the hollow studs provided a firm grip of the soil. So you can kind of see it in those pictures there. Basically, they made a cleat, right? Like what we would wear in our sporting events, many of our sporting events today. These cleats, or these hobnails, these hollow studs, provided a firm grip on the soil, digging into the ground and providing sure footing when holding his ground against the advancing, or even advancing against the enemy in attack. That's the purpose of cleats, right? To give you a good, firm stance, or even to give you grip or traction as you push forward. What would happen if a lineman wasn't wearing cleats on Friday night as they went to battle against their arch nemesis? Right? He would be knocked off his feet and pushed backwards because he had no traction, no way to gain traction. Roman soldiers had this same idea in their caliga, their shoes. In Ephesians 6, Paul gives us instructions to suit up for battle. We've been looking at that over the last few weeks. And in verse 17, he calls for us to put on our caliga. And with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. Paul is calling us as we get dressed for battle not to forget our shoes. Be sure that you're wearing the right shoes. There are many of us today that struggle with finding peace in our lives. I know that this is true because of a statistic that comes from 2013, which I assume would be even greater today, that says more than 1 in 5, that's 20% or more, adults were taking some kind of medication to help with anxiety or depression. And what is anxiety or depression? The absence of peace. A life that's in turmoil. Many of us are struggling with that, as is evidenced by the statistics and by the help that is being sought to try to restore peace in our life. Again, I remind you of what Paul said in verse 12, that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, and against the powers in this dark world, and against the spiritual forces in the heavenly realms. Satan and the forces of evil are up to no good in this world, and they are disrupting our lives, creating chaos, which is the absence of peace, is one of their greatest schemes. Paul talks about the schemes of our adversary, the devil. If you want to know what his greatest work is, it's robbing you and I of the peace that comes from the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's happening. It's happening in your life. It's happening in mine. We'll talk more about it as we move along this morning. But understand that our battle isn't against flesh and blood. Who's it against? Satan. And one of his greatest schemes is robbing us of our peace. Satan wants us uneasy. He wants us angry. He wants us full of worry, full of anxiety, concerned and unsettled. Why? Because when we are in that moment of unrest, we're off balance in our trust in the Lord. And we are primed for Him to wreak havoc throughout any and every moment and relationship within our lives, requiring Him only to just give a little nudge to send us over the edge. I mean, think about it. The times that it's hardest not to just unload on your children and make them feel this big because is when we are angry. When we are angry inside, they've done something that was wrong, and we begin to get upset and frustrated, and we are not at peace. And in our anger, we lash out. I remember a good friend and mentor type that talked about, as a father, he had a hard time coming home from work and not bringing the busyness, the chaos of the management life home with him and influencing his interaction with his family. Such to the point that he put up a sign in the garage right underneath where he parked so that when he pulled in, it said, "Daddy's home," to remind him that work was gone and family was here. It was time to set aside the junk and let God prevail in His relationship with His family. You see, Satan wants to rob us of our peace. He creates chaos and havoc in our world so that we are off balance, so that our cleats aren't in the ground, so that our shoes are off. And it only requires him to push just a little bit, to send us over the edge and have us acting outside the will of God the Father. Think about the last time that you had an outburst of anger or that fear took over. Likely you found yourself saying or doing something that you regret. Something you know that is not characteristic of a child of God, but yet it still happened. Why? Because your anger or your fear had you robbed of peace that God provides. And it left you off balance and vulnerable to the schemes of the devil. Paul spent the greater part of his letter of Ephesians emphasizing the peace of God that we should be experiencing as His children. This peace, he says, manifests itself through the unity in the faith with other believers. in the ability to be in relationship with one another, not permitting our differences or life circumstances to steal the peace and so bring discord and dysfunction to the body. If you've got your Bibles, open to Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. We almost got to this passage in Bible class this morning, but Colossians chapter 3, verse 12 and following, Paul would speak about this peace. Not that I have already obtained it. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. Oh, I'm in Philippians. That's why I'm not in the right place. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, and over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, Paul would say. Paul again calls on them and us to live at peace with one another, forgiving and loving, allowing the peace of Christ to rule in our hearts. As we return to the imagery of these caliga, the shoes of peace, I'm reminded of three things. Number one, the peace of God will carry us through the roughest of terrains. The feet, fitted with readiness, the shoes of peace, were designed so that we could navigate the roughest terrains in life. Secondly, the peace of God gives us the ability to stand our ground, especially when we stand together, when we all wear our shoes of peace and stand together. But the shoes of peace allow us to stand our ground. Why? Remember, they have the studs on them that grip the ground, that give us a firm stance, that keeps Satan from being able to easily move us, and actually give us traction as we press forward, as we advance in our fight against him. And then finally, the shoes of peace are go shoes. In Matthew chapter 6, Jesus would tell us not to worry about a thing, but rather just to seek God. Do you remember? Don't worry about your life, what you will wear, or what you will eat or drink. Look at the birds of the air. They don't toil away, but God, what? Feeds them. Look at the lilies of the field. They don't work to gain their clothing. God adorns them, and aren't they beautiful? Jesus says, you don't need to worry either, because aren't you greater than these? And if so, won't God, if He takes care of them that way, won't He provide for you as well? Jesus talks about this life that He calls us to, that is a life without worry and without anxiety. It is a life of peace. A life of peace that comes from trusting in God to be the provider of what I need for this life, to be our sustainer. Paul would write in Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your request to God. And He gives us a promise. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. As we noted when we began, worry and anxiety are some of our enemy's greatest schemes. When he can occupy our minds and our hearts with worries and fears of this life, we begin to drift further and further from our comfort and knowledge of God as the great provider and sustainer of our lives. The gospel accounts actually give us a very beautiful image of the power of the peace that Jesus provides. Although I often feel like we have trouble translating it into our lives and understanding it for what it is. You remember, Jesus and his disciples were in a boat. Jesus was asleep, and the storms began to surge all around them. The winds were wailing, the waters were crashing in on the boat. I would assume, like every storm, there was thunder, there was lightning. And it was enough to scare the fishermen who likely had seen storms in their day from the boat in the middle of the sea. But they were scared. They were fearful. They thought their lives were over. Because remember, they ran to Jesus who was asleep and they shook him awake and they said, "Don't you care? We're about to die." And Jesus does what Jesus always does. He restored peace and harmony in the midst of the storm. "Peace, be still," he said. But he didn't just restore peace. He rebuked the disciples and called all followers of Jesus to live a life of knowledge of the peace that comes through the power of Jesus Christ. We have a hard time, I think, translating this moment into our lives. We've got to recognize that this was not just written to show us that Christ has power over nature, but more so to show us that Christ has the power to bring peace in the midst of all of our chaos. It doesn't mean that we never experience the storms. It only means that when we hear the thunderclap, that we see the water crashing into the boat, that we feel the wind swirling around us, or we see or witness the lightning striking, we only continue to walk, fitted with the shoes of peace, because they were made to handle all of life's storms and all of the rocky terrain. Did you hear what Paul said in Philippians 4:7? The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Do you understand what that means? I'll be honest, I struggle a little bit to put into words what that means, or to understand totally what it means, peace that transcends all understanding. Those are some big words. They're not words we use, and transcend, that's not a word we use in our everyday language. I do at times struggle to understand, at least by spoken word, what that means, but you know what? I think I can say that I've experienced it. And I imagine you have too. Our family has experienced our fair share of storms and chaos, and I don't doubt that they're not over. There's more to come. Moments when Satan was up to no good, looking to disrupt our lives of faith and take away our shoes of peace. Sometimes, I have to admit, unfortunately, he was momentarily successful. Like with his disciples in the boat. But then there are other times that I can say that the peace that Paul talks about transcending all understanding was experienced, and Satan went down in defeat. Not too many years ago, we experienced a storm of great magnitude. At least it was for me. Details are not important, but what is that even though every part of me wanted to hit people, hurt people, bring destruction to the lives of other people, and I would have been justified by the world's view, I found myself doing quite the opposite. Forgiving, loving, keeping peace in the midst of this ugly chaos. Not because I wanted to. Not at all because I wanted to. But because the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, was ever present and ruling in my life in that moment. Fortunately, that morning I had put on the shoes of peace. I had suited up with the shoes of peace. I can't put into words what transcending all understanding means, but I can put into experience. It's in those moments when the world is swirling and we want to behave like the world. We want to run to Jesus in the boat and go, "Wake up! Don't you care we're going to die here?" We go, no. Peace brings us to a place to know that Jesus is in the boat with me, and that's enough. And despite my sinful desire inside me, I will wear the shoes of peace, and I will stand my ground and allow the peace of God that transcends all understanding to guide me through this storm in Christ Jesus. Our Caligula, our shoes of peace. Like the cleats that our children wear in sports today, dig into the ground and provide us firm footing as we stand our ground against the enemy's attacks of his outlandish efforts to bring chaos into our lives to rob us of peace. They give us the ability to stand because they dig in deep to the rock of Jesus Christ, keeping us firm. The last thing I mentioned about the shoes of peace is that they're go shoes. Did you catch what Paul said? Your feet fitted with what? Readiness. That is the gospel of peace. Do you remember when you were kids and you got a new pair of shoes? Or maybe when your children were children and you got them a new pair of tennis shoes? They thought the world was theirs to conquer, didn't they? I can run fast in these shoes. And off they go. I'm the best basketball player ever in these shoes. And off they go. And what you saw was nothing different than the child they were before they put those shoes on. But those shoes were their go shoes. They made them ready and excited to face the world that was in front of them. Paul says, may your feet be fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. Our shoes, our peace shoes, are go shoes. They're shoes that give us excitement and joy, ready to face the world. Why? Because we have the confidence that in these shoes, nothing can bring us down. The enemy cannot defeat us. We can run faster, we can jump higher, we can play longer, we can play better. Because these are the go shoes. These are what they were designed to do. These are what I'm designed to wear. To weather the storms, to be faithful in God, to trust in His provision for my life even amidst the chaos, and to make me excited to press forward to share the gospel of peace with all of those that are around me. We've been discussing our call to suit up the armor of God. This morning, I stop in the menu of armor and ask you, what shoes are you wearing? What shoes did you put on this morning? I'm not asking what brand are you wearing. Are they heels or are they flats? You know what I'm asking. Did you reach into the closet and grab the shoes of peace? Are you wearing the peace that comes only from God? Church, there's only one pair to reach for in the closet. Those are the Caligula of peace. These shoes. I suspect there's several in here this morning that are in desperate need of the peace that comes from God. So I want to make two suggestions. These are not groundbreaking ideas. They're not ones that probably even a counselor or a psychologist would offer to you. They're just Sean's crazy thoughts of how we can be reminded of the shoes that God gives us. First of all, if you're in need of peace, the first thing I would tell you is, remember I said that when we all wear the shoes together, we're unmovable. Sometimes we need to look into the lives of our brothers and sisters of faith, and we will find in someone one who is always fitted with the shoes of peace. And in the midst of their chaos, they are able to stand firm in their faith in God, trusting in Him to see them through whatever the storm that is raging in their life. Those are the people that my first suggestion is about. Find them and simply ask them, how? How? How do you wear the shoes of peace in the midst of the storm? How do you know the peace of God when your life seems to be so completely upside down? The second one is probably a little simpler, but it's also a little sillier. However, I think it can be the most impactful. When you go home this afternoon, look in your closet. I'm sure you have quite a few pairs of shoes in your closet. Pick your favorite pair and name those your shoes of peace. Just whatever. Maybe it's your slippers, maybe it's your sandals, maybe it's your flip-flops, maybe it's your boots. I don't know. But pick a pair and say, you know what? These are going to be my shoes of peace. And any moment that Satan begins to take peace out of your life, go to your closet and grab your shoes of peace and change your shoes and put them on. And I told you, it's silly. But if you'll do it, guess what happens? Your mind says, peace of God. It will rule in this moment. It's silly. But something happens when we engage ourselves in activity. Did you ever wonder? I always did anyway. Did you ever wonder why Mr. Rogers always changed his shoes when he got to the house? Did you watch? You know what I'm talking about, right? The beginning of the show, he's singing along, "Won't you be my neighbor?" And he's changing his sweater and he's putting new shoes on. I don't know. I'm sure it was a cultural thing at the time, but I'm telling you, if you'll do what he did, when Satan begins to rob peace from your life, if you'll sit down and put on some shoes that you said, these are my shoes of peace, your mind will go through the process of remembering, in God I have peace no matter what the storm. And you will begin to stand your ground against the devil's schemes in terms of robbing of the peace. So I challenge you. Go home. Name your shoes of peace. And remember, the next time that Satan attacks with one of his favorite schemes, nope, I'm going to put on my shoes and I'm going to stand my ground. Ephesians chapter 6, Paul says, suit up. Put on the full armor of God.